Hey, hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Yeah, I'm not putting the webcam because my connection is so bad that it will probably take away the sound. So I think if we do it without the web, it's better.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
And sorry that I'm late. I was caught in a long call, so I'm very sorry that I'm late.
That's okay. Okay, so thank you so much for accepting this. This is a pleasure to us, and we've prepared a couple of questions. Is it okay?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay, so you study economics, and your thesis was regarding to sustainable development and environmental conservation, in particular the natural resources of Kenya. Is it correct?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us why did you choose this subject? I mean, what drove you to this matter of sustainability?
Uh, I study economics and I did my thesis on wildlife as a natural resource in Kenya, sustainable development and environment conservation. So I was probably very ahead of my time. Um, I saw that there was a disconnection between the tourism industry in Kenya and the local communities. About 75% of the wildlife, when I did my thesis more than 25 years ago, was already known to live outside of the national parks. And I envisioned that there were not going to be sustainable conservation policies that could be successful without addressing the fact that the wildlife was indeed living in private land. And so this idea of national parks, drawing a line and saying animals in, people out, was completely wrong. And I created an eco-lodge in a Maasai reservation. So it's one title deed. The land is owned by a group of people. It's about 1,200 square kilometers in front of Mount Kilimanjaro. And the entire idea was that if we could prove to the landlords that wilderness with thriving wildlife is something that is economically productive, then they will have a reason to maintain it. You cannot have these conversations based on emotions, based on values. We can't, as Westerner, ask people who are living in dire circumstances to have the same idea that we would on natural resources. And I also think that we are a little bit presumptuous, because if you look at the way that we have used our natural resources for our own economic development, nature's that always come last. And so definitely European countries have made their choices and they went ahead because they didn't care about nature and they used it in a very unsustainable way. And then we go to Africa and we expect Africans to do the opposite that we did. So in a nutshell, that's how everything started and how it unfolded. And I unfortunately still a very pioneeristic example. It would be nice to see that these would have been taken to by others in other stages, and in reality as not. I think there is a lot of talks. I think that now responsible tourism is used as a marketing tool, but is not really done. So I think we are in a stage in which the industry is feeling that it looks good to say that they're addressing responsible tourism, and in reality they don't. I think they will. I think it will be driven by your generation. So I am keen to do this conversation with you and help you out in whatever way I can.
Thank you. We know that Campi Akanzi means Camp of the Hidden Treasure in Swahili.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you choose this name particularly?
It's a cool story. I was looking at the National Geographic documentary about a chimpanzee that was raised in captivity, and she was able to understand human language, and she had a keyboard and with signs, and so she was able to say, "Throw the apple, I want to play," and they call her Kanzi, which means hidden treasure. And I thought that was a nice story, and I called my camp the Camp of the Hidden Treasure.
Oh, it's funny. Can you tell us a funny story that happened between the Maasai and some guests, please?
A funny story.
Yeah.
An Italian aristocrat who came, and she was very difficult, and it was at the very beginning, and she was having a very how do I say, classy attitude towards the Maasai. She was treating them like servants, and I really didn't like it. And so I remember going to the kitchen and say, "I'm so sorry. This person will be gone in 2 days. Just carry on and hang in there. I'm sorry." And I sort of apologize on her behalf. And one of the Maasai said, "Don't worry, Luca. I'll treat her like an egg." And so he made this movement of taking an egg with 2 fingers and moving. I will make sure she doesn't break. And so in a way, in Italian, we have this way of saying, I'll do something without making my hands dirty. And I think this Masai was saying the same, was saying, Luca, why are you concerned? I really don't care about this person. She's not offending me. I think that's a funny story.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that Scampia Candy has won a lot of awards. We want to know which one is more important for you and why.
I don't think that there is one in particular that means more than another. Um, Definitely among those awards, probably the most prominent one is the one called Tourist for Tomorrow, simply because it's an award that is assigned through a very meticulous procedure where you get audit, the panel of judges are very expert, and so that is definitely an award that is meaningful to us.
Now, can you tell us how do you see Scampia Candy in 5 years from now and what projects do you have in mind?
I hope that Campia Kanzi can become a replicable model. I hope to be able to scale it up in size within our ecosystem and use it as a model for responsible tourism in East Africa.
In your opinion, what needs to be changed in Scampia Candy or be improved?
I don't see any particular improvement or changes that I would like. I would like to see definitely more visitors so that we can share more tourism revenues with our staff. I would like to pay our staff more. Kenya this year has definitely uh, had a bad year. The press was very bad. I'm sure that you know that there was a terrorist attack in April in a
Yes.
university that has put Kenya off the tourist map. So I don't think that there is something that I would change inside, because wherever I have the ability of change, I have tried to do my best. I'm not saying I'm perfect at all, but I have done all I could to do what I think is the best thing that we can do. There are things that are beyond my control, and that is, rewarding our staff more given the economic circumstances. It would be nice to be more successful, to share this success more with the community and with the staff.
What are the main challenges that you and Scampia Candy face?
I think the challenge is that the tourist industry is changing, and you have big chains where lodges are owned by big corporations, and it's very difficult to compete against this corporation. I think that the public is more sensible to responsible tourism today. And unfortunately, one of the biggest challenges is that you have operations that are not really walking the talk, but they're spending a lot of money in makeup to look good and not to be good. That is definitely unpleasant to see and difficult to compete against.
From our research, we didn't find Scampia Candy into operators, like for example Booking.com, which is rare. Can you tell us why?
We are actually now in bookings.com. We are going to implement it. I think because we are a niche product. I don't think, I think one of the challenges is that once you operate in a secluded area like we are not served by scheduled flight. You need to hire a plane to come where we are. Um, we are very small. We transport all our food from 300 kilometers away by air. Unfortunately, our rates are very high. And so it's really sad that this good product is available only to very wealthy people, and I don't think that the mass tourism engines like bookings.com or Jovago or anything like that could be a good fit for us, because we are more for a word of mouth. It's really a niche product for niche people, and it would be nice to change that, but the reality is impossible. It's like, if you go and visit a gorilla, it's going to cost $750 just to have the gorilla permit. It's very sad, but there are 700 gorillas and there are 7 billion people. You cannot have 7 billion people visiting the 700 gorilla, and I'm sure that it would be nice to have different rates in different season and have student rates, and it's something that we would definitely think of. But I know that we are not affordable, and therefore we are not into the mass tourism channel.
At the end of our project, we had to settle one goal that could be developed in 5 years. We decided that Campiacanzi could build a small Maasai museum in which were shown the Maasai typical clothes and manufactured objects.
Fantastic idea. Give me the funds and I'll do it. I don't necessarily think that it would be profitable. I think it would be something very good to do. The Maasai are very proud of their culture. I think that it would be very interesting to have a very modern museum where you can collect audio, video uh, witnesses, testimony of elderly people that will not be there in 10 or 15 years and collect their memories. So I think it would be a great idea. I don't think that in the business model of Campiacanzi would be viable. We definitely do not have the money to invest in that. Would it be something that I think is valid? For sure. Probably there would be the need of funding philanthropic money to kickstart it. And I think that probably then it will be self-sustained by the tourist model that we have already in place.
Okay. I think that's all. I don't know if
Okay, fantastic. Again, I'm very sorry that I was late and great to talk to you. Have a great weekend.
Okay, you too. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.